In year one, head coach Bryant Vincent got ULM on the right track. Can he take the Warhawks to the next level in year two? It's Locked On Sunbelt.
You are Locked On Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked On Podcast Network, your team every day.
Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Today's episode brought to you by FanDuel. Right now, new customers can get $150 in bonus bets when your first $5 bet wins. All right, we continue to recap what happened at Sunbelt Media Days. We've gone over, let's see here, Texas State and Southern Miss. It is time for ULM. Head coach Bryant Vincent was kind enough to join us. And I thought the most interesting part of the conversation was what he had to go through just to get ULM at the basic standard of college football program. So listen to what he had to do just to get it to that normal standard besides recruiting players and stuff like that. So way before trying to coach anybody, I thought that was the interesting part besides who's going to replace Ahmad Hardy, who's protecting Aiden Armenta, and what are the weapons that Aiden Armenta is going to have on the outside. As far as the players, he did bring senior tight end from Nebraska, Nate Sullivan Jr., and linebacker Billy Pullen. He is in year number 2 for the UL Monroe Warhawks, ULM Warhawks. He is head coach Bryant Vincent, and he is Locked On Sunbelt.
All right, welcome back to another edition of Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. We're here with the head coach of ULM, Bryant Vincent, in his second season. Warhawks got off to a tremendous start last year, 5-1 with a win over JMU. Finished up a little bit on the tough side, not finishing up with a win, finishing up 5-7. But I got some enthusiasm in Monroe for the first time in a long time. And on a side note, enrollment is up about 5% for the first time in a long time as well. Coach, finally glad to meet you for the first time. How excited was Monroe to finally get some wins under their belt? And I mean, you got them going. Fans were in the seats last year watching the Warhawks play football.
It was fun. You know, it was fun to get the first year started in the first phase. And the first year is always the hardest because especially when you come into a program that's been down and been to one bowl game ever and didn't win it. And it's been on a lot of tough times. So you've got to just put your head down and you've got to build it day by day. And to see our attendance and the excitement just continue to grow. You look up and I think they were averaging around 3,500 fans a game the year before. And then you look up and we're at 21, 22 and it just continues to grow. And I think that's the mission. You know, that's the purpose, is to bring this program back, to unite this town in Northeast Louisiana and to do the things that have never been done, to make history. And our players have bought into it. Our town, the excitement, the enthusiasm has continued to grow. I think our town and our people, our former players and fans are excited about this season. They know that this is going to be a better football team than last year's team, and this team is capable of making history. And I don't say that lightly. You know, I'm excited about this football team.
What was that win over JMU? What did that mean to you, the team, the community?
I think just let them know that when we all come together for one common purpose, and that's to bring it back, it can be done, you know, and we can win this. You know, JMU is one of the better teams in this league, and I think we proved a lot by beating them at home last year that we do belong. You know, you start off 5-1, but here's the thing, man, and these are the things underneath that people don't know is we never got negative. Our players stuck together. You know, we're up 17-14 with 10 minutes to go at Marshall, who won the championship, and we've got the ball. You know, we go on a sustained drive right there, we end the game. And Arkansas State, you know, it's 21-21 with 7 minutes to go, and we've got an opportunity, but we didn't cash it in. Then you go to ULL, it's 14-14. So here's the deal. Dez has been at ULL for 5 years. Huff has been at Marshall for 4 years.
Mm-hmm.
Coach Jones has been at Ark State for 4 years. They've had 4 recruiting cycles. We had 1. So now we're on 2. So judge us, you know, after our second and third recruiting classes and where we're going. And then we can talk about those things. So I also take things in perspective. I'm the leader. I take everything on my shoulders. I'm responsible for everything, and I don't blame anybody but myself. But I can tell you this team's different.
So you did say, and we're talking with Bryant Vincent, head coach of ULM, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. You say take it day by day. All right, so you get the job, find a place to live, and you're starting to recruit. There had to be a whole list of things that you had to do as the head coach before you even started thinking about football, because it's ULM. Can you give us a few things that you might not think about, that fans may not think about, that had to be accomplished before you even thought about day one of spring football?
Absolutely. The first thing we had to do, we had to establish a nutrition program. I come in day one.
You know what? I try to establish that every day. It doesn't seem to work.
but I come in and I'm like, think about this. I'm going, all right, where's show me our nutrition budget and what's our nutrition program look like? And I get the crazy eye, and everybody's like, what are you talking about, Coach? I was like, what do you feed the players? And I'm telling you the truth. They said, wait, Coach, we had Pop-Tarts and peanuts for breakfast. We had boxes of Pop-Tarts and we had some peanuts. And I went, okay, maybe that's why we look the way we do.
Fourth quarters aren't going our way. Yeah.
And physically you can't hold up, past the first drive, but we established, a nutrition program, speed equipment. Speed is a big part of this game, and we didn't have any speed equipment, athletic training equipment, recovery equipment. We didn't have any shoulder sleeves. We didn't have any of the leg sleeves. We didn't have massage guns. When I'm talking about the bottom, we were on the bottom. And now we're going into year two. We've got top rate speed equipment. We've got a nutrition program I think that our players will stand on the table for. We've got a strength program that's been established. We've updated the facilities right at a little over $1 million of facility upgrades, from equipment upgrades to, we hadn't had updated shoulder pads in 10 years, brother. 10 years. We had 16 shoulder injuries playing with middle school shoulder pads last year. I'm just calling it what it is. And now we have every single player on our team has customized shoulder pads. And so the progress has not only been just in the weight room, it's in the overall program. And that's what it takes. Look, year one will put 10 years on your life. And so I've, without a doubt, it's put 10 years, but it's when you're passionate about it and you understand the things that have to take place, they've taken place. Our administration, with President Castile and our athletic director, John Hartwell, we were probably behind 10 years. I think we've closed that gap where now we're just behind a year or two.
Well, you can show progress real fast. I mean, have you shown these guys, like you said, you're in year two. So you show up in December a couple of years ago, right?
That's right.
And now you're heading, it's a year and a half later. Have you shown the pictures of what these guys look like in January of last year and now what they look like in July of a year and a half later, and what you're going to look like a year and a half from now?
No, without a doubt. I think we've done
it's almost like a
that.
Before and after picture.
It's actually very entertaining. We sit there and we go, oh my gosh, can you believe this? So we do our body comps this morning to really get the whole team, and that's what we had scheduled this morning.
I ain't sitting for one of those body comps. I don't want any part of that. I know what it is. It ain't pretty.
But when you see when this team takes the field this year, it's going to be night and day from last year to this year, and it truly is. I'm not just saying that, but seeing is believing. So we've got to show it.
All right, so one of them, we're talking with Bryant Vincent, head coach of ULM. All right, so one of the things I didn't want to talk into existence, but you could see it coming, Ahmad Hardy, him and Fluff Buffalo were playing great as freshmen. Again, I didn't want to talk into existence, but you could see it coming that they were both going to enter the transfer portal. How much fun was it watching him play last year, but knew what was going to happen at the end? I mean, do you even worry about it because you can't do anything about it?
Well, the thing that I told Ahmad, because we had a great relationship, we still do. He called me Sunday, which was, it's about relationships with our kids. And all I'm here to do is to educate them. So after he'd rushed for like 200 yards, 3 games in a row, and I knew it was coming, I brought him in. I said, look, here's the deal. Finish what you started. Keep your head down. And when the season's over, we'll meet, and then I'll educate you on and give you my advice. But right now, there's so many distractions. There's so many people getting in players' ears. And it hurts them because it's easy to put their mind into something else. and to put your mind in your team, finish what you started, and then we'll deal with that. So when the game was over, the season was over, and we met, I said, look, and I knew he was getting in, and I understood it, man. I know what he's been through, and I know his situation. And I said, you're starting all over. Here's what you do. Remember, it's about the people. Because once you get in the SEC, it's all the same. I said, take your visits, make your decision off people, not money and not places. Make it off the people. And I think that's the end of the day. Look, he had Ole Miss, he had Alabama, he had everybody, and he chose Missouri because of the people. And I think when you do that, then you can't go wrong. So I'm happy for him. Love him to death.
A lot of fun to watch.
Oh, dude, he was an animal every single day. You don't see true freshmen come in like that.
Right.
And from day one, I'm like, okay, this kid's different.
Right.
And his work ethic and his mentality, and he got everything he's got and he's earned.
All right, let's take a timeout. We'll come back and talk with head coach Bryant Vincent of the ULM WARHAWKS about the weapons that he needs to give Aiden Armenta, replacing Ahmad Hardy. Very high on the running back room, his offensive line, and some weapons on the outside. We'll do that once I tell you about FanDuel. Summer sports are in full swing, and whether you're all about baseball under the lights, golf on the green, or high-stakes soccer action, FanDuel is the best way to make every game even more exciting. You're already following the action. Why not make it a little more thrilling? With FanDuel, you get in on the game while your friends are getting sunburned at the beach. I've been using FanDuel to track my favorite matchups, and the app keeps it fresh with new daily promotions and fun ways to bet. It's easy to use, fast to pay out, and makes even regular season games feel like must-watch events. Whether I'm placing a same-game parlay or watching a bet ride into the ninth inning, FanDuel makes it even feel like I'm part of the action. New to FanDuel, new customers can bet just $5 and get $150 in bonus bets if your first bet wins. Open the FanDuel app today or visit FanDuel.com to get started. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Let's continue our conversation with the head coach of the ULM WARHAWKS, Bryant Vincent, on replacing Ahmad Hardy. He is very confident in his running back room in 2025.
Talking with Bryant Vincent, head coach of ULM, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. All right, let's talk about helping out your quarterback, Aiden Armenta, because obviously needs more weapons than Ahmad Hardy and maybe a little bit more protection up front.
You know, I think our running back room is, and I mean this, we've had the leading rusher in the nation in 22. We've had a top 10 running back 5 out of the last 7 years. You think about that. I think this running back room is the best I've ever had, top to bottom, and I mean that. From top to bottom, you go from Braylon McReynolds, you go from Zach Palmer, Smith, you go to Deshaun Ford, you go to Jaden
I saw
Wright.
Braylon McReynolds play high school football. He's like 30.
And you know what? And he is explosive and he's powerful and he cares. But I'll stack this running back room with any running back room that I've had in my career from top to bottom. And they're all built a little bit differently.
Right.
And I'm excited about them. I think this room, and they've got the right mentality. We've got the right depth. They're very intelligent. So this is a really good room. And to be able to get Coach Brigham back, who was on that stretch with me those years at UAB, that knows our offense inside and out. I think he does a tremendous job, and I think we've got a really good running back room. And I think that.
What about some weapons? Go ahead about the offensive line.
I think I think our offensive line has a chance to be the best in the conference. I think you look at Q McBroom at left tackle. He's really taking strides. He's 6'5", 325. We've got a battle going on at left guard with Roscoe Tucker and with Reese Steele and really Kaleem Croswell. You've got Elijah Fisher, who's might be one of the oldest players in the league, you know, with a lot of experience, but he's at center. And then you go to our right guard, Jay Mickle, who's a veteran experience. And then, you know, at right tackle, A.J. Vincent's really came out of the blocks with John Goodman backing him up and David Applewhite. So I'm really excited. I don't lose any sleep with our offensive line. And then you go to our tight end room. I've had 7 tight ends playing NFL, and I think this tight end room
Big tight end fan, Coach. I'm
is
a big
the
tight
best.
End. Throw it to the damn tight end.
Amen. I love 12 personnel. I love tight ends, and they make our offense go. And I think this tight end room with Nate, Julian, and Rylan Green, and then you add a Cy Stovall, and then you've got now Peyton Todd into it. But I think our tight end, I'll put our tight end room against anybody in this league.
And what about some weapons on the outside?
I think that was a major need that we had to address. We didn't get a lot of explosive plays from our receiving room. I think that getting Jake Godfrey back, Tyler Griffin's had a great spring and summer. You bring in Nick Trujillo from New Mexico, who we signed out there. Then you add Rico Powers, and you had, Brandon Burkhalter, you had Buck, you got, JP Coulter that we've added in. Jonathan Bibbs is ready to hit the scene. Caleb Gross. So I think our receiver room is night and day compared to what it was, and it needed to be. And we made those adjustments.
All right, let's wrap things up with Bryant Vincent, head coach of ULM. You played a little footsie with Jacksonville State. What brought you back to ULM?
Really, the people, our players, our town, and our people. And again, like I said earlier, it's about the people. And I've created such great relationships. And I feel like this town and this community, the alumni, the players, they needed a leader. And and it was the most crucial time, I believe, of this program. And I mean this, like, I love our team. I love our kids. This isn't about me. It's about our players and our town and turning this program around. And you go back to when the ULL game was over, the last game of the season, and our players gave everything they had. Now, they fought to the end every game. And I started getting text messages from all of our really the best players on our team, returning players. And they're like, Coach, we're staying, we're going to finish this mission. And we believe in you and we believe in this mission. And to me, that meant a lot to me as the head coach, in their confidence and their belief and really their desire to come back and make this thing happen.
How do you get a word in edgewise with your AD, John Hartwell?
You know what, man? John is awesome. John is, he gave me this opportunity. I'm very grateful to John. We have a great relationship. John was one of the main attractions for me to want to come because it starts at the top. And now we have a president that is driven to help turn this athletic program around in this university to its potential. And now we've got alignment from the president to the AD down to the coaches. And that's what it takes to be successful, because this is Division I college football. And everybody's got alignment if they're any good. So now we have alignment, and now it's time to take that next step.
All right, tell us about the players that you got. You got Nate Sullivan, tight end.
So Nate is a guy he's got a chip on his shoulder. He's the same guy every day. Every single day, Nate is going to bring you his best and bring this team his best. He's tough. He's relentless. He cares about his teammates. He's a good leader. He's always positive. I talk about storms of life, storms of the season where, you have momentum swings or you have defeat. You have defeat and failure. And Nate's been steady in the storm. He's been a leader. He's been focused in the fire, because the players got to get you out of that. You can only be coach driven so far. And his leadership and toughness and mentality is really what this team's built on.
And then Billy Pullen, your senior linebacker.
Billy I love Billy, man. He was one of the really big signees that I really felt like could really be one of the faces of our defense. He's tough. He's a street fighter on the field. He likes to fight. He's going to bring it. He's tough as hell. It means something to him. He's very passionate. The other guys feed off of his toughness, his mentality. He's up for the challenge. He loves the big game. He loves the fight. And when you get a bunch of fighters in a locker room that care about each other, you got a chance to win them fights.
He's head coach Bryant Vincent, head coach of ULM. He is locked on Sunbelt. Always appreciate your time, Coach. Best of luck this season.
Thank you, Dave, and go Warhawks. Appreciate you, buddy.
Let's take one more time out. We'll come back and we'll talk to Nate Sullivan Jr., the tight end, and Billy Pullen, the linebacker, about where ULM can improve in 2025. We'll do that after I thank you. All right, we did it. We cracked the 2,400 mark. Still on that pace to looking good for 2,500 subscribers. It may not be quite August 1st, but it will be before September 1st. We'll get it. We're averaging more that 5 a day. We had 41 in the last week. It is amazing. You guys are the absolute best. Deciding whether we're going to put the new ones up, the previews up on the weekend or not. But we will get to all of them. I did get 13 out of the 14 coaches. Tough to believe I still didn't get Georgia State. I still haven't talked to Del McGee. We'll reach out. We'll see if we can set up a time. I'm not sure if that's ever going to happen. For whatever reason, it did not. But I got to 13 out of the 14 coaches, and I had a good time with all of them. So it was great to be able to get down there and do that. And some of them actually seem to appreciate that I was there. So I like that. And we don't take it too seriously. Like to have some fun, usually at my expense, not necessarily at theirs. But I appreciate you guys commenting. And when I'm wrong, you're happy to let me know that. And that happens more often than I'd like to say. But really appreciate it. Please keep up that audio podcast. We're already past 7,000 downloads for the month. We may get to 8,000 downloads, and that would be a new record. So Apple Podcasts and Spotify podcasts, probably not going to hit the 80,000 mark on the video, but we're going to do just fine. We're already past 50,000. So that's very good for Locked On Sunbelt. Really do appreciate it. Thank you so much. All right, let's wrap up the conversation with the ULM WARHAWKS. We got Nate Sullivan Jr., the tight end. Up first is Billy Pullen, the senior linebacker, leader on a defense, and need to be able to finish stronger. They started out 5-1 last year. They faltered a little bit, maybe focusing too much on getting that 6th win and becoming bowl eligible.
Hey, this is Bryant Vincent, head football coach for ULM WARHAWKS. You are watching Locked On Sunbelt with Dave Schultz.
All right, Dave Schultz, back with continuing our conversation with the guys from ULM. We got tight end Nate Sullivan Jr. along with ULM linebacker Billy Pullen. Billy, let's talk with you. You heard from your coach, Bryant Vincent, street fighter, big signee. What's it like leading the Warhawk defense?
It's a blessing, man. We got a lot of great guys on defense, on offense too. I mean, I love my teammates. You know, it's just fun going to work every day with them guys.
So where do you guys have to – you guys started so strong last year. What do we think happened towards the end of the season?
I think we were so focused on getting that 6th win, we started looking ahead instead of taking it week by week. We just got ahead of ourselves. Like Coach said, we were in a lot of close games. We just didn't finish.
I think they were all close ball games. They really were. I don't think there were too many double-digit losses towards the end of the year.
Nah, just Auburn and South.
Yeah, too many Pop-Tarts.
Yeah. Nah, we good now.
All right, so where do we think we've improved the most heading into 2025?
Up front, offensively and defensively. Like last year, our interior guys on defense were 280,
A little small.
290 maybe.
Right.
Now we got guys 330, we got 320, we got guys behind them that are 300 plus. Offensively, you know, we made some good additions on the O-line, so I think that's where we improved it.
And what's it like playing? So I'm going to tell you what it was like seeing it was an odd home field advantage for ULM. And here's the difference when you're playing in front of 3,500 compared to 22,000. All right. The road team, it was a home field advantage for ULM, oddly enough, because there was no juice for the road team. The road team had to bring their own juice. And if you're playing a noon game, there's no juice. If you go on the road and you're going to App State or Marshall or the Cajuns and you're the road team and you go down and score and you quiet the big crowd, you guys get some juice from that. But if you quiet a crowd of 3,500, there's no juice. And so ULM would get some wins playing better teams because they just wouldn't pump themselves up. Now you actually have a home field advantage because you have crowd, you got players in, you got fans in the stands. What's that like? So it's a very odd home field advantage when there were no fans in the stands because there was no one to quiet down.
First of all, I think the camera, like, it shows the away side.
Yeah.
You don't see many fans, but we had a good amount of fans on the home side.
Well, this year, yeah, in 24 you did.
Oh, yeah,
Before that you did not.
Oh,
No, this past season you absolutely had a bunch of fans
Okay.
there. Yeah,
Yeah, I think a big part of that home field advantage is the humidity.
yeah.
Yeah, man. I've played in Texas, Mississippi, Louisiana. Louisiana's by far the hottest. I mean, when we played JMU, it was crazy humid, and I think them guys felt it.
I was going to say, could you see them getting tired in
Oh,
the fourth quarter?
Yeah. We were tired too, but we're a little used to it, you know.
So could that end up motivating you guys, seeing them get tired? Boy, if we can just push through a little bit, they're going to falter before we do.
Oh yeah, I mean, I think like our first 3 games are at night, our home games. I'd rather play them during the day. We're used to it. But yeah, so.
All right, let's talk to Nate Sullivan, tight end. Got on in here. Billy, you got to move out. He's got to close the microphone. All right. All right, Nate, we got to have a little man-to-man here, all right? Tight end is the biggest mismatch on the field, bar none, all right? You're going to be bigger than the safeties that covering you and faster than the linebacker. How do we get head coach Bryant Vincent to throw you the ball so you get 50 catches? I'm setting the bar. It's 50 catches. It's the biggest mismatch on the field. You open up the entire offense. Am I right?
Yes. But, at the end of the day, it's just about what works, to be able to beat a team. We can run the ball. The passing game's going to open, obviously, this year for sure. And, it's just about the options we have and utilizing the players we have.
But if they can throw you the football, that takes a linebacker off the field. Then all of a sudden, that's one less linebacker, not to mention one less safety. That opens up the running game.
Yes, sir.
And then if it takes a safety or a linebacker away, that opens up the underneath for the running back to catch the football and the crossing patterns. It's all about you. You are the key to the entire offense. I'm not putting any pressure on you, Nate. You have to lead the offense. It's not Aiden. It's not the running backs. It's not the wide receiver. It's the tight end.
Yeah, I believe I'm leader on the offense.
If you take away Patrick Mahomes, who's the best player in the NFL? Travis Kelce. Period. Right? And before that, it was Gronk. Boom. Those are the biggest mismatches. Right? Not A.J. Brown. It's Gronkowski.
Right.
It's Travis Kelce.
Right.
It's the tight end.
Tight ends do a threat. They can do flex in, flex out.
Plus, you get to hit, and people don't see it coming.
Right.
Crack back.
Right. Axe box.
That's right. That's right. All right. So, what led you to come to ULM?
Just
how do you find ULM? Aren't you from Nebraska?
I am.
Did you know where Monroe, Louisiana was before you?
I did it.
Yeah,
I did it. But it came down to just the relationships. When I came on my visit, my official visit, it was just within the coaches. What they cared about. Coach Vincent, he was heavily strong on just heart and the love and relationships. And so I think that's what really drew me into this program was how big of an impact I knew that Coach Vincent and the rest of the coaching staff would have on me.
Tough guy to say no to. Did he at least get you some cinnamon Pop-Tarts?
No. We got way better.
At least did he at least hide the cinnamon Pop-Tarts? Because those are the cinnamon frosted Pop-Tarts are at least good. He had some of them in his dash. He at least kept some of them.
I used to eat those my childhood, yeah.
Got to keep some. Those are the dessert. At least keep some for the dessert.
A couple
right?
of them, yeah.
You got to have some of them. All right. So how do we get past? Obviously, Ahmad Hardy was a big part of the offense last year. How do we become more diverse and at the same time more balanced, where we're not concentrating on just one person?
Like I said, just I think we have a lot of offensive threats this year, and I believe that just with the receivers that we have outside and obviously our inside, our O-line up front, we can run the ball and pass the ball. We're able to this year be able to, run and throw the deep shots that we need to be able to throw.
And what's it like building something at Monroe? Like we're talking about home field advantage, where Coach Vincent is talking about, 3,500 people coming. High school gets more people than that, especially up there at West Monroe. They draw.
Yeah.
People, legendary high school football players have come out of North Louisiana drawing 5,000 and 10,000 football fans. Now you guys are drawing 10, 15, 22,000. What's it like seeing that on a weekly basis where you guys are, they're talking about coming to Monroe football games?
It's a blessing. I think it's just within the community. People are excited for what Coach Vincent and, us players have in store. just last year showing the capability of getting past that, 2 wins that they were previously in the drought before, So I think this year it's going to be even more fans in the stadium just because of what we did last year.
All right. He's Nate Sullivan. He's Billy Pullen. They are, well, there he is. Hold on. There he is. He's squeezed out of the picture. They are from ULM. They are Locked On Sunbelt. Thanks for hopping on the podcast. Best of luck this season, guys. Really appreciate it.
Thank you for having me.